sponsor at Esparza. This is our computer hardware final project video.
I'm Johnny Parker, and today I'll be showing you how to assemble a computer desktop.
Hi, my name is Brandon Halls. Stay tuned for more.
This is the power supply. It converts alternating current into direct current. The power supply supplies power into a computer. It regulates voltage to avoid spikes in electrical systems. And there's one screw that goes in the front. Correction, 3 screws that go on the front to secure the power supply to the computer case. Hard drive, a hardware device that permanently stores and receives information. Memory is accessed sequentially, unlike the RAM. Data is stored on this device includes pictures, documents, music, and things of that nature. It stores files for the operating system. With these 2 arrows, you line them up with these 2 arrows down here. Goes in here first, and it just snaps into place just like that. You're going to connect your SATA cable to this back port right here, like so. You're going to take the connector coming from the power supply to the back, like so. With this other one, you just simply tuck it underneath, out of the way. Just like that.
With the motherboard, which is the most essential part of the computer, or one of them at least, it is home to many crucial components of the computer system, such as the central processing unit, also known as the CPU, which is located right here. And it is basically the brain of the computer. It carries out instructions for operating systems and applications. And also it provides connectors to other input and output devices and slots for memory or RAM and the CMOS battery. And I'm going to start off by putting the heatsink on top of the CPU. This is basically used to cool down the CPU because it does work hard to keep the computer the computer applications running and carries out instructions, so it heats up, and this is used to cool it down. And it's also designed to absorb heat from inside the computer into surrounding air. Some require a fan, such as this one. This one is a active heatsink. The ones that do not require a fan are called passive heat sinks, and it looks something like this. So we'll begin by aligning the screws to the screw holes. These are the screw holes down here. And you basically just make sure it aligns and screw it in. Installed the heatsink, we're ready to install the motherboard onto the case, and this particular case is an ATX Advanced Technology Extended, which is a motherboard configuration specification. The motherboard already includes these ports here, which include the VGA port, the mouse and keyboard port, and USB ports, and we're going to align it to the I/O shield, which stands for Input Output Shield. And just to make sure that it aligns. Make sure the cables are out of the way. And then on this side, we're going to make sure that the motherboard, which is all of this, aligns with the holes to screw them in, which are located around the perimeter of it. And we're going to use these screws to screw the motherboard in.
Alright, now we're going to install the RAM, and RAM is the random access memory. It interacts with the CPU. Programs are loaded onto the RAM. The CPU basically carries out the instructions to run the programs from the RAM. And now when you install the RAM, you want to make sure you line it up properly with one of the ports, and you should just put enough force on it to push it down enough for the clips to go in on its own. If the clips don't go in on its own, that means the RAM is not properly in there. Also, very important, when you are installing the RAM or even just touching the RAM, make sure you do not touch these black chips, because if you do, you can short it out basically with an electrostatic discharge, which will basically make the RAM not work anymore. Alright, now we're going to install optical drive. The optical drive is a Dixie drive that uses laser-like technology to read and write off of a disk. And when you're going to install it, you need to make sure that you line it up properly with this port. And all you have to do is push it all the way in until you hear a click. And then you take this cord right here and you make sure that you plug it into the proper port. Should be right. And that's all you have to do. Also, you also want to make sure that you connect to the SATA cable. And the SATA cable is basically a serial advanced technology attachment. It's mainly used to attach storage devices such as the optical drive, hard drive, to the motherboard. And for this, you just take it and plug it in